Let's see if that works. Can you guys hear me now? Okay, I had a microphone plugged in, but I don't think I switched that. So there we go. Okay, so you can hear me now. Wonderful. I'm so glad that you're joining early because we are at full capacity for this webinar. So I'm glad that you're here to save your spot, and we will get started in just a minute. I would love for you to say hello and let me know where you're from. And if you are from the Highline School District, I would love if you would let us know what school your children attend in the Highline School District. And if you're around all over the country, I'm expecting all over the country and all over internationally. Out in Canada, wonderful. We have a family from Mar Vista, wonderful. Des Moines, okay. North Hill, wonderful. Washington State. From South Africa, how wonderful, welcome. Alberta, North Hill. This is so wonderful. I see that we have a lot of families nearby and a lot of families all over internationally. 2 at North Hill and 1 at Sylvester. Well, welcome. I'm so glad that you guys took the time to be here today. I know as parents, we are so busy, and the fact that you invested the time and effort to be here and join us when so much is going on right now in our world, and it can be hard to invest in our family, but you're here, so welcome. So happy. Okay, what time? We are at 9:01, so I guess we'll get started here. And I just want to say welcome to all of it. We have 4-year-olds in preschool, Tahoma School, Southern Heights. Okay, great. So I think we're going to go ahead and get started. I just want to say again, welcome to how to get your kids to listen without yelling. And if you're tired of nagging and bribing and yelling, then you are in the right place. So we're going to talk about a few different positive discipline parenting tools today. And I'm just so happy to have you all here. But I do want to start with a grounding exercise because like I said, I know a lot is going on and there's a lot of tension lately, a lot of stress. And so I just want to start with taking a moment to ground ourselves so that we can be completely present for this webinar. And also I want to ask you to go ahead and turn off any distractions that you may have. I know that could be hard as a parent if you have the little ones around, but just try to turn off distractions and maybe grab some pen and paper to take some notes. I will be, everyone who is here live, I'm going to be sending out a copy of curiosity questions so that you'll have those for you, but you might want to take some other notes about things that we talk about today. So go ahead and do that real quick and we'll get started with a grounding activity. Okay, so this is one that I like to do, and it's just noticing with our 5 senses, okay? So first, let's just notice what we see. So you guys probably see me right now, but unfortunately, I can't see any of you. I just see myself. Which is why I love when you guys are active in chat because it helps me connect to you all. But yeah, so let's notice what we see. Okay, let's take a moment to notice what we hear. I hear a buzzing in the background. Let's notice what we smell. I noticed some lavender calendars or lavender candles that I am burning. Let's notice what we feel or touch. I can feel the bottom of my feet against the floor, my bottom in the chair, my hands holding each other nervously as I do this webinar for you all. And taste. Lastly, what do we taste? I have the coffee from this morning on my still in my mouth. I taste. Yes, no, I just love this exercise because it's something that when you have a flipped lid or you're feeling really triggered or upset and you need to take a moment, it can really help you center yourself and ground yourself. And it's great to teach your children. It's great to teach our kids as much social, emotional, grounding exercises as possible to help them with self-regulation. So I, definitely encourage you to try this and to teach your children. All right, love the lavender. Yes, lavender is so calming. Okay, so for those of you that don't know me, and go ahead and put in the chat if this is your first time coming to one of my workshops or seeing any of my webinars or Facebook lives or any of that first timer. Yeah, if you're a first timer, go ahead and put that in the chat. But if you don't know me, I am Christina Saley, and I am a positive discipline parent educator and parenting coach. Wow, I see we have a lot of first timers. How wonderful. I'm so excited to have you join us. Yeah, so I am a parenting coach and I've been facilitating workshops in the Seattle area for about 8 years now. But since COVID, I have moved online and it's definitely been a learning curve for me, but it is our new normal, right? We all know or are familiar with Zoom now and moving online. So, and I really have enjoyed the experience because as you can see in the chat, I'm able to reach and meet parents from all over the world. And how exciting is that? So, so I have been doing this for a while now, but when I was a parent, my I was a yeller basically, and that's why I'm doing this webinar because I totally understand how it is to feel, get triggered and just react and not being able to, you know, respond thoughtfully as you would like to. And, we all know it's not effective. We all know that we want to try not to yell, but it's hard. It's super hard. And so, I grew up in a family of yellers and I swore I would never be a yeller, but the kids come and you have all these expectations of what kind of parents you're going to be, but in reality, it's tough. And we have a lot of stress and overwhelm as parents. I'm a single parent, so I had a lot of, felt really overwhelmed. And so but and guess who knows how to push our triggers, right? Our children, right? And let me show you my children here. I'm going to share with you my PowerPoint slide. It's really hard to see everything here. Okay. So in my slide here is a picture of my kiddos. This is my family. So I believe on your left is my oldest, Desmond. He is now 24. My daughter, Carissa, is 18. My son, Darius, in the back there is 21. and Lauren's in the front is 12. And then next to me is my oldest son's girlfriend, Bree. So these are my kiddos. And yeah, most of them are grown now, you know. But my 12-year-old is still home with me. And for you that have older children, that have teenagers, can understand how that teenage teenage attitude can really be triggering. And that's what I'm experiencing right now. Yes, but hello everyone. Oh, I see that we know some people here. How wonderful. Also, I would like to let you guys know that my good friend and colleague Maggie Cruz she's going to be monitoring the chat for me during this, and I'm so happy to have her help me out with that because it can be hard to see the chat while I'm sharing my screen like this. But yeah, so like I was saying, our kids know how to push our buttons, right? So the biggest question that I get as a parent educator and parenting coach is, how do I get my kids to listen? And then the second question is, how do I respond without yelling? Like, how do I, not lose my cool with my kids? How do I have more patience? Oh, we have a 12-year-old. Yep. They're both yellers. I know it's so stressful and exhausting. You're so right. So I'm so glad that you're here. So yeah, let's see here. How do I get my kids to listen? The biggest question and why we're all here, right? Well, perception is everything, okay? How we perceive our children's behavior will influence how we react to it. And a lot of how we react and how we perceive our children's behavior has a lot to do with our childhood and how we were raised. And it has a lot to do with triggers that we may have from our childhood. So like I said, my parents were yellers, and even though I swore I never would be, I became a yeller. And a big trigger for me is that attitude that I was talking about, that teenage attitude, that show of disrespect was a huge trigger for me. And when I look at that, I can see how that came from my upbringing. That was my father. He was very just set in his ways about being respectful. Children need to be respectful and seen and not heard, right? Yeah. So I want to ask you, the last time you asked your child to do something, what was the response? So go ahead and put in the chat. The last time you asked your child to do something, what was the response? Gosh, you know what? I just realized ignored me. Yes. I'm going to stop share for a minute. I forgot I am not. It might be too late. I meant to go on Facebook Live with this, and oh, maybe I can still do it. But go ahead. I know. Yeah. Go ahead and continue putting in the chat. What was your child's response the last time you asked them to do something? Eye roll. Yep, that's what I was talking about. No grunts. She did what she asked. You do it. Oh, that would be a trigger for me. several requests, right? Sometimes we have to ask again and again, and that's why we end up resorting to yelling because they're not listening. Yeah, very theatrical. Yelling no and then running away. You do it. Uh-huh. Yes. And that's why we're here, right? How do we get our kids to listen? So, first, I want you to visualize before becoming a parent. What vision and expectations did you have of what your child was going to be like? So, go ahead and put in the chat. What did you think your child was going to be like? What was your vision, your expectations for your child? I know for me, I just had this vision of being super close and my children being respectful and doing as I ask, right? Having a happy relationship, being thoughtful, would look up to me, yes, and respectful. I wanted my daughter to be respectful and have good manners and follow the rules. Nice and quiet. Yes. Responsible. Right. Now, what kind of parent did you imagine you'd be? I want you to go ahead and put in the chat, like before you became a parent, how did you imagine that you would be as a parent? Loving, yes. Thought it would be more patient, right? We don't realize how triggering it is that our children are going to be, how much they're going to push our buttons, right? Sensitive, understanding, nurturing, comforting, loving, open ears, more patience, calm. Yes. So many of us still hold on to this vision. We never stop to question these expectations and if they're realistic. Is it realistic to think I'm never going to be triggered, that I'm never going to yell, that I'm just going to be so kind and patient with my children, right? And realistic of our children, right? Is it realistic to expect our children to be, completely obedient and seen but not heard and follow every order, right? So instead, we find ourselves constantly frustrated and disappointed. So, how do we remove these barriers in order to have a more peaceful home? Well, what are your triggers? So, like I said, my trigger, a huge one for me is the attitude and the disrespect. What are some of your triggers? What really pushes your buttons? Go ahead and put that in the chat. What pushes your buttons? Attitudes, right? Having to ask over and over again. No, being ignored. That's a big one. Yeah. And what about lack of motivation? I think I've always been a type A personality. So I really get triggered by my children's lack of motivation at times, especially now with COVID. And it just seems like they're just not motivated, right? Yes. So I see there's others out there. Yes. When they don't want to help, keeping their room clean. That's that's definitely a trigger for some of us. Yeah. So what's important to remember is, doing our inner work isn't easy, right? But we have to realize that we are raising our children while growing ourselves. And I heard this recently and I just love it. It is so true that a lot of those triggers that we experience, a lot of things that we, experience as parents have to do with our inner work that needs to be done. Okay. Yeah. So, how would it feel to be more calm and present for your children, right? That's what we all want, to just have more peace and joy in our homes and not be so overwhelmed, but really enjoy parenting, enjoy our children, especially now when we're home together 24/7. We want to have more peace and joy and feel more calm and present. Then let's think about our children. So, from the minute our children wake up, they are being told what to do, when to do it, why to do it, and how to do it. So, how do you feel when someone makes a demand of you? Just think about that for a minute. When your boss is telling you to do this and do that, and you need to do this faster, how does it feel? Yet we're constantly frustrated. Yeah. We're constantly telling our children what to do, how to do it, why to do it. No control, nervous. Yeah. Let me go ahead and share my slides because I'm going to share with you one of the best kept secrets of how to gain more cooperation from our children. Ask more than you tell. So, this is one of the secrets. This is one of the ways to gain more cooperation from our children is to ask more than we tell. Oh, I don't want that one yet. We're going to do an activity. I want you guys to get inside your children's minds and imagine that you're a child. Not, it doesn't necessarily have to be your child, but you are a child. And I'm going to read some statements, and I want you to notice how you're feeling. Notice what you're thinking, and maybe what you're deciding. Maybe what you're deciding about yourself, or maybe what you're deciding about me as your parent. And then I want you to go ahead and put that in the chat, okay? So what you're feeling, thinking, and deciding. Go brush your teeth. Don't forget your coat. Do your homework. Stop fighting with your brother. Put your dishes in the dishwasher. Hurry up and get dressed or you'll miss the bus. Stop whining. Pick up your toys. So how are you feeling? Loss of self. I'm bored. Forgetful. Bossed around. Yes. Like a broken record, right? Just want to tune me out. Overwhelmed. And what are you thinking? Thinking, I don't want to do it. Not capable, right? Distracted, overwhelmed. Yes. And what are you thinking? Distracted. Get off my back. Leave me alone. Why can't I keep up? Why can't you do it for me? Thinking you're going to be defiant. Feels like a demand. Yeah. Right. And any decisions, maybe about yourself or about me as your parent, what are you thinking about me, deciding about me? Deciding not to do any of them. Mm. Sick of me telling you what to do. Yeah. Not on my side. Mom is mean. Right. Now I'm going to give you a few more statements, and I want you to do the same thing. I want you to notice how you're feeling, what you're thinking, and what you're deciding. Okay. What do you need to do so your teeth won't feel so icky? What are you taking outside so you won't be so cold? What's your plan for doing your homework? How can you and your brother solve this problem? What did we decide about doing with the dishes when we finish eating? What can you do so you will catch the bus on time? What words can I hear you say? Or what words can you use so I can hear you? What is your responsibility when you're done playing with your toys? All right. So now how are you feeling? Happy to have a choice. Feel more responsible. Included, reminded. Feeling capable. And that you do know the answers. Accountable. Less bossed around and controlled. Right. And what are you thinking? Oh, we're still annoyed that need to do something, right? Feel more like a grown up. And what are you thinking? I can do it. Willing to help and confident. I have choices. I can do it on my own. Proud of myself, empowered. Wonderful. And what are you deciding? So you're deciding about yourself, maybe deciding empowered. What are you deciding about me this time as your parent? Mom believes in me. Yes. Engaged. Team player. Mommy trusts me now. Awesome. So, it takes a few more words to ask curiosity questions, but doing so invites children to feel more capable. So, a few of you mentioned that it helped you feel more capable, right? Yeah. So, in all of you that are attending live are going to get a copy of all of these questions, curiosity questions, we call them. So, how do you see this tool being useful in your relationship with your children? You can put that in the chat there. Oh, thank you. Yeah. So, while this isn't a magic wand, you are more likely to gain cooperation. It does take more time and effort as you practice this at first, right? But really think about it, like, how long are your power struggles lasting? How long are those meltdowns lasting? And how do you feel at the end of the day when you've been barking orders and acting like the nagging parent you swore you'd never be, right? Way too long, right? So, maybe it's worth trying something new and trying this out and see how it works for your family with your children, right? So, again, I will send you those to all of you that are here live. And those of you that are not live and are watching this as the replay, here's a slide. Oh, whoops, let me go back here. A slide of a couple of the questions here. So instead of go brush your teeth, what do you need to do so your teeth won't feel so yucky? right? Instead of do your homework. I know a lot of us with virtual learning are probably hearing us say this one over and over again, do your homework. So trying instead, what's your plan for doing your homework? Okay, let me go to the next slide. So a lot of you might be like, this is great, but these tools are great when I keep my cool, but how do I stop the yelling, right? So I want to share with you 6 steps to help you yell less and connect more. Checking the time here. Okay. So 6 steps to yell or help you yell less and connect more. So first, notice the feelings that come up. Are you feeling anger, fear, frustration, powerlessness, shame? So feeling the feelings that come up, just noticing. Oops. 2, pay attention to the thoughts that arise, right? So are you thinking, I can't believe he just did that. How dare her? I need to get a handle on him or her before they turn into a sociopath. She sounds like such a spoiled brat. So pay attention to these thoughts. Then 3, challenge and replace those thoughts. So my child is still learning and isn't out to get me, right? He's having a problem, not being a problem. I can help her learn a kinder way of speaking to me. This isn't an emergency. I can handle this calmly and respectfully. I need to focus on connecting before correcting. That's something we learn in positive discipline, to connect before correct. And that was one that I always reminded myself, that I need to focus on connecting before correcting. 4, commit to pausing and do something to take care of yourself. So this is a big one. And this is the tough one, that when we feel all these feelings come up and we notice the thoughts we're having, and it's hard to take that moment to shift those thoughts and reframe what we're thinking, and then to actually take the time to commit to pausing and do something to take care of ourselves. But it is so key. So this is the moment when we want to take that moment to just breathe slowly and deeply, or walk out of the room, leave the situation, count to 10, close your eyes, give yourself a hug. Okay, yeah, a hug. Maybe go outside and notice something in nature. Maybe grab a piece of paper and write out your thoughts and feelings, or just scribble. Whatever works best for you. But taking a moment to take care of yourself, to take a break. In my workshops I do in positive discipline, we talk a lot about creating a calm down space for our children. But as parents, we need our own calm down space. We need to take our own breaks. For some of us, that might be the bathroom, the only door in the house with a lock. Or, when the kids are young, maybe we can't totally walk away or leave the room, but maybe we can try some of the other strategies of, counting to 10 or taking a deep breath. Or when you have teenagers, for me, it was the car. We go to the car. So whatever works for you, but just taking that moment to take care of yourself. Okay. And then next, if you do end up yelling, then apologize, right? Because no matter what, we're all going to have times when we yell, right? Even though I'm a parent educator and I've been doing this a while now, I still have times when I lose it. Okay, we all do. We're not perfect. We're human. We make mistakes. And so if you do end up yelling, then just, have that conversation with your children. Like, I yelled at you and that wasn't okay. I apologize. It's not okay for me to speak to you that way. It's not respectful. Next time, I will walk out of the room and take deep breaths. Again, I'm sorry. I don't know about you, but I could sure use a hug, right? Kids are so forgiving when we take the time to model asking for forgiveness and, correcting our mistakes by letting them know what we choose to do next time. And lastly, practice, 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 right? This is not easy. I tell my parents all of the time that the reason I started teaching these parenting classes and teaching positive discipline is I needed to hear it over and over again. I needed to constantly remind myself of the tools that I needed and to shift my mindset in order to finally break the habit of not yelling, right? It's not easy. It takes practice. But the more we practice, mindfulness and grounding exercises like the five senses that we did in the beginning. And another one that I love is name it to tame it. So just taking that moment to, notice what you feel in your body, right? I feel my hands clenching or my jaw clenching. I feel hot. I feel, just noticing how it feels in your body and then taking a moment to notice what you're thinking, right? And shift those things are shifting. Our kids are not out to get us, right? They're having a hard time and we can help them through it. And we can start by modeling for them how to control their behavior. We can model for them self-regulation, okay? How to be calm in the moment. So be kind to yourself, okay? This isn't easy. Remind yourself that we all make mistakes. And thankfully, our kids don't need us to be perfect. That's a lot to live up to, right? So be gentle with yourself. You're learning new skills right alongside your children, right? And as we learn these skills, we do, get better. I'm a different parent now than I was. I hardly ever yell anymore. Is a big difference. And I feel the biggest difference for me is like feeling just so much more peaceful, feeling that sense of calm, feeling just, that peace, um, because I have a different mindset and I have the tools that I need when I do get upset. But the more we practice these tools, the more we practice, being thoughtful in how we respond rather than reacting, that space gets bigger, right? That space between feeling an emotion and reacting to that space can grow the more that we practice, right? Okay, let's see here. We get to teach our children what to do when mistakes are made. Yes, children are very forgiving. Yes, I love that. All right, so these are just a couple of tools. That's all we have time for in this short time that we are here together, but I hope you found this helpful, right? I forgot to mention in the beginning that if you have any questions, to put it in the Q&A because I am going to be answering questions at the end. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put that in the Q&A. I am going to take a few minutes to answer some questions. Looking at our time here, and we got about 5 minutes for questions. Very helpful. I hope I can follow through continually. Yes, yes. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. Okay, so far I see one question. Go ahead, and if you have any questions, put it in the chat. Again, this is just a couple of tools. I hope you found them helpful. Really practicing the asking more than telling really makes a difference. And, I do have to warn parents that at first it may seem like our kids are acting up even more and aren't listening. And that's because they're not used to this change in the way that we're responding to them. And so sometimes it can get worse before it gets better. But when we start communicating more respectfully with our children, then they start responding more respectfully. Okay. What if after using these tools, our children does not seem receptive to behavior change? That's a great question, right? What if we do try these things out and it's still not working? They're still not listening. So at the end, for those of you that choose to stay on longer, I am going to be talking about ways that you can learn more tools, right? Because in 45 minutes, we only have time for a couple, but there's so many positive discipline tools that I teach in my workshops. So we will go over that for those that choose to stay on. Let me go to questions. So for toddlers, what do you do when they just totally melt down? So that's a great question. So really in the moment of a meltdown, the best that we can do for our children is to model calmness, to be as calm as possible. They really feed off of our energy. So in order to de-escalate a person is to be as calm as possible. And they see this and hear this, and like the mirror neurons that we have is they repeat what they see. So when our body is calm and when our tone of voice is slow and soft, then that helps soothe them and calm them down. Just being there for them in the moment and letting them have their feelings, right? And if you're, in a store, then go to the car, right? And our kids sometimes they're tired, they're hungry, we've been in the store too long, they can only handle so much, right? I know as busy parents trying to finish up all of our running our errands, but our kids when they're young can only handle so much. And so when they're overwhelmed, they tend to have meltdowns. And so just being there for them, letting them have their feelings, modeling calm for them, soothing them. And it depends on your child. Some child might like, a back rub or a hug. Others might not want to be touched. So it totally depends. Do you have any specific tips for strong-willed children? I'm also curious about tips for only children. Yes, definitely. So strong-willed children, definitely we need to use these tools even more, right? So giving them a sense of power by asking them rather than telling them is a good start, because when we tell people or someone tells us things, our mind immediately goes to resistance. And when we ask questions, our mind then goes to answering those questions. So that really helps with strong-willed children. Another tip for strong-willed children to give them a sense of power is to give them choices, right? And both choices should be something that you are willing and accept, but giving them choices is very important. What is the best way to combat temper tantrums after being asked what to do or asked to do a task? Yes. So again, giving our children choices, asking them rather than telling them, it really does help combat the temper tantrums. There's definitely many other tools as well. But sometimes our kids just need to have those big emotions. Sometimes they're really tired and hungry, like I was saying earlier. Yeah. Any effective strategies for being mindful when we are rushed? Yes, when we are rushed is the most challenging time, right? And again, I challenge you when you think about how busy you are and how much of a hurry you're in to remind yourself how much longer it's going to take if your child has a meltdown, right? If you are barking orders at your child, then they're more likely to have a meltdown, and that's going to make you late. So it's actually better and saves you time in the long run if you take that moment to slow down and respond thoughtfully. One skill that we teach, or one tool that we teach in positive discipline, is to create a morning routine chart. That really helps with that morning rush and getting out of the house. So being able to refer to a routine chart is really helpful to prevent that. Does that work for older children too? Yes, yes, it does. It works for all ages, definitely. Okay, what time do we have here? So we are at the end of our 45 minutes. Um, so a lot of you had questions about how to learn more, right? So I do want to offer those of you that do want to learn how you can learn more tools like this, especially if you have a strong-willed child, or tools for young children, preschool children compared to teenagers, right? Learning more tools, because as parents, honestly, just what works with one child doesn't work with another. And having as many tools in our tool belt as possible helps us, because they're all different, and what works with one child doesn't another. What works in one situation might not in another. So if you would like to learn more about, how you can learn more tools, then I want you to stay on to the end of this. I am also inviting a good friend of mine, a colleague of mine, Maggie Cruz. She's going to be meeting with us in a moment so I can introduce her, and she's going to be talking to you about a great free program that we have in the area. But if you're not in this area and you want to learn more tools, then stay on. And I'm also going to be just taking 5 minutes to talk about an upcoming workshop I have. But I want to give people a chance who um, is not interested in learning more, and just wanted to be here for this free webinar. And I want to let you know how much I appreciate you being here and taking the time and investing in your family, right? Because we are all so busy and overwhelmed right now with everything that's going on in our world. And I hope you found this helpful, and know that I appreciate you. And stay connected. Please stay connected. Let me share my slide of my contact. Uh, So I have a Facebook group that is all parents of all ages, and it's a great space, a very non-judgmental, supportive space where you can come and ask questions. I'm always there to answer any questions that you might have in the Facebook group. I do weekly Facebook Lives. I kind of took a break because I just moved, but I'm going to be starting that up again. So great way to get a lot of content and answer a lot of these questions that you have is those Facebook Lives. I go over a different positive discipline parenting tool every week. Also, I do Instagram Live, so you can follow me on my Instagram and also my YouTube. I've done a bunch of videos. They're not the best, but I'm working on them, getting better. So you can check out my YouTube channel. But lastly, if you go to my website, you can get links to all of my social media. You can read my blogs. I've done weekly blogs on different positive discipline parenting tools. And you can see all of my upcoming events and workshops and all of that. And if you subscribe to my email list, then you get 20 ways to avoid power struggles. And you also get my weekly newsletters. So definitely go to my website, check it all out. I'll put it in the chat as well. Oops. So empowered parenting family. Definitely check it out. And lastly, I again want to go ahead and say goodbye to those who have to go. But if you do want to learn more about Maggie's, what she is offering in the Highline District and learn more about my upcoming course, then stay on for 5 minutes and we'll go over that. Okay. Maggie, if you want to come in so we can introduce you. I think maybe she's been a little camera shy. Oh, right. And then I will go right after, I will go over my upcoming 6-week course. Oh, she may not know where I am. Here she is. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Maggie, and thank you so much. You did such a great job. That was so good. I know we all know that parenting is super hard. I have 3 of my own, so I definitely am in the same boat as all of you. I am here just to talk to you about what Highline has to offer. We have a program which is called GLEE, and it's Graduates of Early Learning Academy, and that is for ages 0 to 3. So if you have children between the ages of 0 and 3, if you're pregnant, if they're just about to go into preschool, this program is for you. This program, we are going to start a really cool kit in January. It will be a themed early learning kit, and for 6 weeks, you'll receive an early learning kit with tons of great information in it, an activity, scissors, crayons, glues, and all sorts of fun things to do with your children while you're teaching them and getting them ready for school. Some of those things will be, I know I only have a couple minutes because I don't want to take all our time away, but 6 weeks, and one of them, the first class will be Parents as First Teacher. And we know that it starts at home, and parents are so important to their kids, and they are their first teacher. And we have a couple of other classes in health and safety, social, emotional, child development, positive discipline. So if you are looking for more ideas on positive ways to discipline your children, we will have a week of that. And we also have a community week, because we all know that we want to raise community builders, and we'll have activities and information for you about that. If you're interested in any of this or would like to have more information about this, I will put all of my information in the webinar chat area in that message, and I will give you my phone number and email, and I would love to talk to you about any more questions, or if anybody has any questions, quick questions right now, I could answer those for you. I see somebody said hi. I see Cassie. What do you think? Do you want to say anything about it?
Oh, yeah. I do a couple of the classes on positive discipline for it, and it's such a great supportive community, and it's different now that we can't do it in person, but it's still a lot of great information, a lot of great support. So I definitely check it out for sure. Yeah. I do want to go real quick. I want to keep you guys on to go over the workshop that is coming up. Thank you, Maggie. Okay, so in this course, it is a 6-week course, and we will learn how to understand our kids and what drives their behavior. We'll learn how to understand ourselves, and including how to manage stress, overwhelm, and our triggers. We'll learn practical tools and strategies to help have a more peaceful, joyful home. And we'll learn practical tools that help you feel more calm and connected to your family. So imagine having more cooperative kids, having tools to help manage anger and stress, setting healthy boundaries that are respected, better understanding and connecting with your children, having a calm, peaceful, and joyful household. So these are some testimonials from people who have taken my workshop. The last workshop I just did was a positive discipline with teens. And you can read here, it says, I'm so glad to put time and effort towards Christina's positive parenting workshop. Recently, I attended a course with Christina. What an excellent course. Yes. Okay, and then, so invest in your family today, right? It's going to be 6 Saturdays starting next Saturday. So right after this, and it's going to be 9 to 10 a.m., same time and day as we are right now. And the funny thing is I tried to put in my website for this upcoming course at 9 a.m. and for some reason it would not let me. Like, it would not work. And I even called Wix techie people and they couldn't figure it out. So on my website it says 10 a.m. because it wouldn't let me do 9. So I want to ask you all that plan on attending if you would rather do 9 or 10. But it's going to be one of those times. So you can either put in the chat right now if 9 works better or 10 works better, and I'll also send out an email afterwards. But it's going to be a live webinar just like this, and I'm going to be recording them just like this. So if you can't make next week or you can't make a week, it's totally fine because you will get the recording. So you won't miss out on all the valuable tools that we'll be learning. And if you register by 11:59 on Sunday, by this weekend, 11:59 on Sunday, you will also get an added free hour of coaching call with me. So just a one-on-one coaching call with me. Also, in addition, you will have access to my private Facebook group where I'll be doing live Q&A sessions, okay? So I'll be coming on there and answering all your questions, and I'll have more time to go in more detail than I did earlier just now to really get in and answer your questions. You'll also get a downloadable workbook and also additional parents helping parents problem solving steps. And that's where we get together in a live Zoom, but where we can see each other, and a parent who is having a challenge or a problem that really would like some advice, and we all kind of brainstorm together and come up with some ideas. Our parents really find it very valuable. And you get all of this for $150. So 6-week program. It's super supportive. You have access to me the whole time for any of your questions, any of your particular individual family needs. And you can register at the link down below. So this link is pretty long. I'm going to go ahead and just put my my website, if you go to my website and just click on services or click on in the very top beginning, it says click on the workshop, any of those links, how to work with me, any of those links will take you to the sales page to register. So you book and register for the 6-week class. And again, it starts next Saturday. So I really encourage you to register right away so that we have room. And like I said, we're at capacity today. So we have a lot of people. I want to make sure that everyone who gets to has the chance to enroll. So register early. And I am also offering a couple of scholarships. So if this sounds amazing to you and you really want to invest the time and energy in your family, but you really just can't afford it. I know times are really hard with COVID, and all my single parents out there, if you really want to do this but can't, then email me for a scholarship. Like I said, I'll have a couple of scholarships. So, and again, if you register this weekend, you'll get a free 1-hour coaching call with me. All right. Well, that is it. Again, I just want to say thank you so much for attending. I have really enjoyed this. And if you have any questions, email me. And let me put my email in. Oh, actually, you guys have my email from registering here, but just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you, and I hope to support you in your parenting journey, because I know how tough it is, especially right now. All right, bye-bye now.